A lot of people. You know, what happens if we have an insurrection? I was here for the St. Pete issue back in the early 90s. And then 3 weeks later for round 2. And after round 1, I still remember people saying, you know, we've seen the only riot we're ever going to see. And 3 weeks later, we were back down there. You know, and I'll tell you a brief story. It's got to be brief because he's watching me. But I was in Dunedin that night, and I got a call. It was a Signal 26 to head to St. Pete, and I'd never seen one. Signal 28. I'd never seen one. I had to look it up. What the heck's that? Well, it's a riot. And I go, and I drive down there. They put me in charge of 8 deputies, 3 cars, 4 cars. Head down to the Badcock store at 22nd and 9th. It's on fire. And we went down there as we're going down 16th Street. We're getting rocked and bottled in our cruisers. And I'm like, this is crazy. There were fires everywhere. We got down. We're helping the fire department. And we took automatic gunfire from behind a business. Those AK-47s, which are all over St. Pete. And I just watched the firemen just crank everything back down and say, let it burn. We're out of here. If the situation like that were to elevate beyond what local law enforcement can handle, yeah, you'd have to call in help. It could be the National Guard. I don't foresee a situation where you'd ever have to call the Army or the Marines, but the National Guard, that's what they're there for, to supplement law enforcement in the event of an issue such as that. And that issue, and the St. Pete issue, in no way required National Guard, but LA riots were out of control. I forget how many hundreds of billions got burned up and people who lost their lives. And New Orleans was just a mess, worst case scenario. So I hope that covered it for you.
Mm-hmm. So whose decision is that? Is that the sheriff's decision?
It's up to the governor to call.
The governor.
And the governor is in charge of the troops as well. It's not the federal government. That's why I mentioned earlier about the mayor of New Orleans who made some calls. It's really the governor's call, and my understanding is she kind of avoided that. You know, I read a good book, and it's almost to his detriment. It was George Bush's book. He talked about New Orleans and what happened, good and bad. He said he had a lot of faith in the guy he put in charge of FEMA at that time, but in the weeks afterward he dropped the ball, and that's a shame. And you got to have faith in the people you put in charge of situations, but the ball was dropped in New Orleans with regard to getting out of that city in time, and addressing what happened after that. And to this day, we're still seeing police officers go to jail as a result of that. It was in, 05? They just had trials last week, too. So it's a governor's call.
Thank you. Describe, in your opinion, the success or failure of Pinellas homeless housing strategies, such as Safe Harbor, your predictions on the growth of this population, and the sheriff's role in management.
Wow. You know, my issue with that goes back to 2008. Here was a facility, it was a garage, the PSTA, Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority bus garage. At the time, we decided we needed a new jail because we were full. So we got, I think it was about $800,000 from the county to remodel the garage into a minimum security jail. So there's a remodel job. And then, of course, you got to hire deputies to man it. That's $81,000 a deputy. Salary, retirement, hospitalization, all the things. That's what it costs. So you got to staff it at $81,000 a pop. A year later, the budget crunch hit. We had to cut people. It's the first thing we shut down. It makes me wonder, did we need a jail to begin with, or were we just sort of, once again, living off the taxes at the time, which were coming in? So it sat vacant till last fall. I think last December they announced they opened in January. It's an election year. Honestly, anything you do this year, you can't count, as far as I'm concerned, because it's based all upon getting me elected next year. We opened Safe Harbor. And we really, I think, tried to hit a home run by it. And I don't think we needed to hit a home run. I've talked to a lot of people about it. A lot of people who work and live out on 49th Street. Jeff Jordan owns a business out there. He is absolutely livid. He has watched businesses all around him close down, pack up, they're gone. Jeff has Bandit Fitness. He's out when his lease is up next year. He says, I'm out of here. This is turning into Tampa. We have prostitution. We have drugs. We have people sleeping, urinating, or worse outside of his business. He had a doctor's wife who he does business with a lot, came by to spend a couple $1,000s on some exercise equipment. She walks out to her car. You got people hitting her up for money. And he says, do you think she wants to come shopping here? You know, to buy anything if she's got to deal with this? He's beside himself. I spent a lot of time out there at Jeff's shop. And it's a mess. It's a continual parade of people. They can come and go as they want. They have a box to turn in any drugs they have. They don't get charged with when they're brought there. The only person making money out there is the guy who runs the mobile gas station at 49th and Omerton, because he sells these 4-packs of high alcohol content beer, making a killing. We had 2 other things going. We had the homeless project in downtown Clearwater was already doing a great job dealing with homeless. Caseworkers, getting them back on their feet. But they were doing what should be done, which is picking off the ones you can help, the people who want help, the people who are going to accept help. They're going to reach up and say, yeah, I just need a little help. Do we owe these people a hand up? Yeah, I think we do. You know, we got people who are mentally ill. We have veterans out there. Those numbers are huge. We have families who've lost their house to this economy, or anybody with a kid. Obviously, we got to help. So I think we owe them help, as long as they want help back and they're going to help themselves. You know, the big problem we got is, what do we do with the one who just says, I just want a drink, leave me alone. This is great, I got a hot shower, food, I can come and go as I want. We're losing those people. And all we did was take them out of downtown St. Pete, which, you know, I can sympathize with them, but I live in the city of Largo, and I can tell you right now, city of Largo is livid. Police calls are up ×4, EMS is up ×10. Absolutely livid, beside themselves. Jeff, his business is in the city of Largo, but the sheriff is trying to work with them to clean up the issues. And the chief has gone and spoke to him and talked about Safe Harbor. And Jeff pointed out, you know, there's a huge disconnect between what you're telling me and what your deputies are telling me, because they're coming here saying, it don't work. It's not working. We don't like it. They're in the first line. Why is there a disconnect between what you're telling me, that it's working great and everybody loves it, and what they're saying, it's a nightmare? Got me.
Thank you.
He's trying to be.
That was number 10.
That's it?
That's it.
Barb,
Uh-huh.
there was one question, I don't know if the answer, can a county override gun laws?
Can I, no,
Did
not
I
now.
skip that too? Where's that
Absolutely
at?
not.
Well, it's on here on number 2.
No, I asked that. Yeah.
I didn't know. if
No,
you
I
had
tailed that. I tagged that on the end. So as far as I know, that's the 10 questions. You did a great job, and we really appreciate you coming tonight.
Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate the opportunity again. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.